Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Atlas the Plug, and this is Glowed Up Show. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Doobie Duke Sims, Malgosha Garnis.
Finally.
Forgot it right.
Somehow.
Round of applause.
Round of applause, guys. Round of applause for me. And, of course, Riser.
Yo.
How you guys doing? How you
Good,
feeling?
Atlas.
Amazing. I like that. Yo, so I am super excited today. We have our very first guest on the show.
Hey.
Some jazz
Hey.
We're going to get those sound effects here. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Cruz.
What up?
Cruz in the building. What's up, my guy?
Man, congratulations on this too, guys. I'm really, I'm happy for you guys for, creating this platform for yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's incredible, the space, everything, like the whole setup.
Appreciate it,
Feels really
man.
good.
Having you, we know you're a busy guy. You're traveling. You just got off a plane
Yeah.
and came directly to us. So, we definitely appreciate that, Listen, I just want to jump right into it. I just want to get right into it. You've been doing these amazing things for upcoming engineers, recording engineers, giving them opportunities. The Respect the Engineer workshops that you did, and I was lucky enough to have a hand in helping you with that, was a huge success. And now, tell us about the new, what you have going on right now that you're just launched, which is amazing. Why don't you talk about that?
Okay. Well, I want to, first of all, since I have this platform to finally be able to explain how all this came together, I met through Instagram, right? DM me. Yo,
Oh, you slide in.
I can talk about Snapchat a little bit, right? All right, cool. All right. So he invited me to the show. Afterwards, we chopped it up, hit it off like almost instantly. And he actually was one of the people to motivate and inspire me to see this thing through. Because I had the concept. I was like, I want to do these workshops. I want to help our up-and-coming guys instead of, talking down on them or, throwing jabs. Why not create a platform to teach them the ropes? Because all this is subjective, right, what we do in engineering. But there is a blatantly wrong way to do things. And so I wanted to. Absolutely. And At was like, let's go. And I'm like, all right. I had just met him.
At first, he was looked at me like, are you
Right.
sure let's go? Because I've heard let's go before.
I've heard it a
And
few
then,
times.
and then I'll never forget. I looked at him and I said, "Bro, you've heard it before, but you did not hear it from me."
Yeah.
And when you hear it
Boom.
from
That's
me,
explosions right there.
when you
Yay.
hear it from me, I'm ready to go. They call me the executioner because I just get shit done. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, and it happened so fast. And luckily, it was around Meek had a tour, the motivation tour, and we were, he would be on me like, yo, what are we doing? What's up? We got to start planning this. You need at least this amount of time. We need the X, Y, and Z set up. I'm like, oh shit. Like I had finally a team in place of people that were motivating me and saw the vision and were like, staying on top of everything where I couldn't get comfortable and be like, I'll do it next time. He was like, no, let's go. And, we took a leap of faith. It was super successful, and got a lot of great feedback.
Wait, is this a season 2 or season 1? Season 3?
So basically, that was the first iteration of that whole concept was, motivation tour / respect the engineer. We did a few cities.
Which ones?
We did New York, Miami, Philly, LA. We were going to do Atlanta, but we had to back out of Atlanta, which we are going to come to Atlanta. Trust me, we're definitely going to do something in Atlanta.
So
I have a lot of roots in Atlanta.
how many people per?
There was like, dude, at least on average, there was like 30 to 40 heads.
And all through social media?
yes.
All through social media campaigns.
How many girls?
Promotion. There was a small percentage. I was hoping to see more, and it was very exciting when you did see, the girls that were like, "Yo, I'm in here," and they were extremely talented.
Well, they
like,
always are.
Yeah,
Because it's a boys' club.
We met some very talented, females, and like I always welcome. We never said like we need this type of person to come through. We just welcomed every up and coming engineer. It was wide open to whoever.
Okay, so why are you doing this again?
So now leading into the next thing that we're doing is basically I want to take it a step further. Now I'm done teaching you. I want to put you in the chair. So now it's the Respect the Engineer talent search. We want to know who has it, who's ready to jump in the chair with a Meek Mill or a, one of your favorite artists. And it's a process because we're not just going to take anybody just to take $1 or whatever. So we have a screening process. You go online to breakitdown.com and go to the Respect the Engineer page, fill out all your information. We have a team that follows up with all the submissions. And if you pass the first phase based on the way you answer the questions, we have a phone screening. You pass the phone screening, we direct you to how to, pay for your slot and, lock in. And then from there, we have 3 days in January that we're going to set up sessions at Penthouse Studios here in New York City. We're going to give everybody an opportunity, 30-minute blocks. We're going to know plenty within that 30 minutes, who's who, what they bring to the table. And it doesn't stop there. We're also, after we even pick our favorites from this group, we'll set up even longer sessions and just catch like what their vibe is, what type of questions they're asking, what their attitude is, find out who's there just because they're trying to make $1 and who's here because they're trying to show us that they're very eager and passionate about this and they, love and appreciate the opportunity. Who do we feel comfortable putting in a chair that, that I feel for over 6 years now. So, you know what I mean? So, it's a great opportunity. It's amazing to be able to be in a position to put somebody on like this.
You're basically
very, very
cracking the door for them to walk in.
100%. 100%.
And what's super cool too is, there's so many, and Doobie, you've engineered, you've been in the music business, you've run studios. When I used to sing in an R&B group back in the day with Father Dude, he used to manage the studio that we used to rehearse at. Okay. And he played the guitar. He's a songwriter. This guy's the friggin' man, super talented. And one of the things that I'm sure you'd be looking for example, this is something that an engineer who's looking to get put on or have an opportunity, this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to go there and like be shopping your beats. Like, I make dope beats too. I make dope beats. Like, this is about engineering. This is about coming in and like servicing the artist. You know what I'm saying? It's just not about showcasing your beats.
Facts.
Not yet.
Facts. No, but there's a wave in time. There's a wave
in
time.
And there's a time and a place for it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? What is it that you look for, Cruz? I'm an upcoming engineer. I'm in the studio with you. What is it that you look for? Is it like an energy thing? Is it preparation? Is it a little bit of both? Like, what are the little intricate things that you look for?
Honestly,
what's the trick to get you?
There's no trick. The thing about it is that the science behind what makes a great engineer, aside from just raw talent of knowing what you're doing, it's how you control the room. Your overall vibe, like I said, is your vibe like you were talking about earlier? Are you there because you have an ulterior motive? I kind of engineer, but I got these beats though. Or, you there to become famous? Every moment you get, are you doing a boomerang or you're there like, I'm in the studio with this guy? There's a way, where you work your way into, a team and you earn your respect, you earn, your status there. And there's a time and place for that and it'll happen all organically. And it's very hard to explain like the exact way of how you really fit in. And those people that do, it just happens naturally for them. It's it starts with your own view of like, okay, I'm passionate about doing this. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to bring something to the table. I bring value. And that's the bottom line in this whole thing. Whether I make money right away or whether it comes over a period of time, you're not stressing people out. Like you're literally like, listen, I'm here for you guys. You know, whatever time you call me, I'm there. I'm the first one there. I'm the last one to leave. It's just it's a vibe overall, along with them just bringing raw talent to the table. But it's kind of hard to explain like the in depth, like, you know, how do you like?
Yeah, it is pretty hard to find something like that. I feel like how you just said something super important, like earning respect within a group it's almost like unheard of. You can't walk into the studio and immediately say, yeah, like I've been engineering for this long and like I have good vibes. Like that's impossible to say and show right away. So I think it's like this is like I said before, it's like an amazing opportunity, unheard of, but I'm curious to see how the engineering community kind of can thrive from this type of opportunity and show that yes, it is possible to like get in these opportunities and show this side, like a different side of you. You know, like you like I said, you can't walk in and have this type of opportunity and be successful with it. It takes time, and I'm really curious to see what comes out of something like this.
And I also feel like what you're doing with this is you're like breaking the door down, like Magosha was saying kind of earlier, like breaking the door down. Doobie, imagine back in the day if we like engineer had opportunities like this to like one of the top engineers,
Yeah.
you know, working one of the top artists is giving an opportunity. I mean, you run your own studio too,
Yeah,
right?
I've been to multiple studios, worked with a lot of different artists, and like this is unheard of, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, anytime I got in the studio with a big artist, I always try to keep my cool. You know, I've been in the studio with like assistant engineers where they're like losing their minds, and I'm just like, yo, like just chill. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been to sessions where I got invited from like the senior engineer. They're just like, yo, I know you make beats. Like after the session, maybe you can play some beats. You know, like what you just said, is a time and a place to do those things. And there are situations where like I'm there with other producers and we're all waiting in line to play beats for like this artist that's in the studio, and some people are just like losing their cool, man. Like, you know, and they're just trying to show them everything at once, or like, yo, this is what I do. And I'm just like, I never understood why people act like that, you know?
They're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's not a comfortable situation.
It's nervous energy.
Yeah, they just they don't know what to do. But
Right.
Like,
that's the thing. It's like when you first get in studios and you first get into the game, like you're gonna meet the first famous person. There's gonna be a moment for you where it's like famous person A is there, and then by the time you get to famous person like T, it's like it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're good.
true.
And if you could just be that person
true.
when you meet A, then you'll meet T way faster because they'll
Yeah.
just be like, yo, A, I need you at every session. You make me
Hey.
feel good. Like
Right.
you're my man. Like,
No, it's vibe. It's vibe. Yeah. It's all vibe. It's a majority of it is vibe. Can you be the fly on the wall in the room? Like you're just there, you're humble, you're doing your job, you're not interjecting when it's not your point, not your place. You know, OG Juan was one of the people that put me in position. Him and Dez were. It was, you know, yeah, like they put me in position at Rock the Mic, and you know, it's like you'll know when it's your time and place to be able to say something. If an artist directly asks you, of course, here's my opinion. Otherwise, be quiet.
I mean, it's the ego. It's about how much ego do you actually have.
Yeah, I mean, because there's guys that are just like, yo, I can't take it. I know how to get this done a certain way that you're looking for, and it might not be the way.
And that's so true because there's such a line between like engineering a project and producing.
oh, that's a whole different wave.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
It's
a whole
like
different wave.
I know it's a totally different wave, but like some engineers, like especially more like inexperienced. Oh, well, they could be experienced too. It just you have to know when to push and pull. Like when are you engineer? Maybe you're always engineering. That's just thing. Unless you get asked directly by the artist. Like,
What do you think about
yo,
this?
Doobie,
What do you
with
think,
that take
B?
I just did, you like that one or you like the other one?
I have no answer.
You know what? I've worked with Meek over 6 years. Listen, I don't ever tell him about how to do anything. And you might look at it like, man, you know, you should probably help. Listen, he knows his process. I trust him. He's created Platinum Plus records off of his own skill and what he like his own know-how. He's not one of the artists that loves to be produced. He just knows his process.
You're there to support him and make.
I'm there because I know the workflow. I know without him saying when to go back and do a takeover. I know when he wants to listen to a take without him having to say it. It's you get into that zone with them, but it's like this unspoken thing that you guys create over time working together. But you know, there's moments where in my head I'm like, man, maybe he should do that over. He ends up doing it anyway. You know what I mean? Like you got to give the artist credit. You got to give them the credit of like, yo, these people know what they're doing. They're professionals. So there's people that play themselves and like, yo, you should probably, and they're like, yo, listen, check this out. Let me hear that again. Like, I did not ask you whether I should do it again or whatever. Like,
You need that too.
That's a
You
nice
need to have an
trait.
artist behind you
That's a
for
really
as
good
an engineer to be like, for you to say something stupid,
Yeah.
and them to be like, but I don't care about that.
I didn't ask
you
you.
that.
Yeah.
Like that's see, and being an engineer, you're not making the menu. You just go.
You just serve
We
them.
doing eggs now? Eggs. Let's make the best eggs. All right, now we
Yeah.
doing hash browns? Best hash browns. Whoa.
Yes.
I always love your
like-
analogies,
He does
man.
the best analogy.
What?
Usually it's about movies and stuff. But that,
Now
right
we're
up
going.
there.
Are you hungry?
I know. I'm like, yo, I'm a little hungry.
I got
right
some
now.
snacks.
I've been an
Yeah, I'm like,
engineer
I
for
want
so
some-
long.
I got
Listen,
snacks.
we're,
want waffles?
listen, we're at Chelsea Market, so we can get anything
whatever
we
you
want.
want.
guys.
I have a question. So with like new artists, when they get to work with you, what's the trick when you know there's something there? What's like would they get into it?
You know what?
When does the magic happen? Like with any artist, with like with newbies, where do you
With the
know
new people,
where
yeah.
when somebody comes in and they do, they don't have it. What is that?
When you know
when
they
you
don't have it?
or when you know they have something and they don't even see it.
So it's another thing where it's hard to explain, but it's really all right. When you have an artist that's newer or that's up and coming, and you're like, man, there's this aha moment where like, first of all, for me, it's confidence. You know, especially we've seen people totally crumble in the studio with me, and it'd be people you wouldn't believe. Like, I mean, you get that opportunity where it's like, yo, we might have somebody we're potentially going to sign to the Dream Chaser label, right? And it's like, yo, you know, Meek is the type of person, he has a big heart, you know, he's very open to like giving people the opportunity when they least expect it. Yo, jump in the booth, see what you could do to this. There are people that will literally buckle, and like, you know, if they were by themselves with their homies, it'd be a different vibe. So it's not that you can judge them on that, but it's like, yo, you are not ready necessarily for the big league.
You might be AAA ready, but
Yeah, like you might be like, we need to groom you a little more, but you're not like ready for us to just kick you out of the nest and be like, yo, go do your thing. So that's one thing, confidence of, you know, this is what I do. I know where I'm at with this. You know, let me go in here and deliver something that I'm sure you guys will think is incredible. Without you having to be cocky, you just go in there like, yo, I'm gonna go do my job. This is what I came to show you. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of people that like, they're like, all right, let me get it back. And then them being nervous, it gets a little aggressive. They talk to you a certain way. So it's how you know.
you ain't put the reverb. I said reverb, man.
You have to know. That's another thing. That's another side note for engineers is like, you know, because with me, like even with bigger names, I have to like catch myself, because, you know, you get people that like to touch you a lot, or to be like, you know, and you got to realize like where it's coming from. It's them being nervous and them trying to channel it a certain way. You got to be like, you know what? This is how you channel your emotion. It's cool. I'm not going to take it personal. I know I'm doing my job. You know what I mean? I know I did what you told me to do. Maybe, you know, you didn't, maybe your take or whatever, like you didn't nail it or whatever.
Of an engineer, the patience of an
Oh,
engineer
yeah.
is
That's
amazing.
large.
Because
Yeah, man.
you guys have so many, like during a session, especially when the artist has a few homies in there, or a few people, or the manager, or this one that think they know more than the engineer as far as engineering goes. They're just, I've seen it happen in so many sessions where there's like 3 or 4 people like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in
Oh,
your
it happened.
ear.
Let me tell you,
In
it
your
happened the other
ear.
day where normally I don't say much. I just kind of like, you know, I'll take everything in stride. Somebody will give their little 2 cents. I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, no problem. Where I had somebody and they caught themselves, but they were like, yo, they're like looking at the meter and they're like, hit the red a few times. Like, you know, look, did you check your level? I'm like, yo, check this out, my man. Don't touch that. Back up.
Yeah.
I got this. You know what I mean? Like real calm without causing a scene. Chill out. And he had to come to the side. Yo, listen, I know what you do. I know your track record, whatever. my bad. I'll just, I'm like, no, it's all good. I'm like, who are you here with?
Yeah.
But
He probably just graduated
Seamless.
school, recording
Seamless.
I
engineering.
seen it in the red.
Seamless.
it's a way of handling all this
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be.
Yo, it's being a therapist. Another thing about being an engineer, is right?
Yeah.
Am I right? That's a whole
right.
class right there.
That's a fact.
That's a whole class.
In a
right
way,
there.
yeah, it's like it's some of that to it. Yeah,
I feel like an engineer, there's like a tone in the way you talk. It's like you're always calm. It's like blunts could be rolled, party in here, a lot of yelling, a lot of this. But like, there's always like that calm within. Like even like you have that aura too. It's just always you too.
Because you got the
Doobie.
ship. Because you got
You
this.
too, right?
the
You
ship.
have that too.
We have
What
the
about
engineer
me?
aura.
You definitely don't have it, and I don't have it either.
It's all
okay,
good.
I still love
it's
you.
all good.
Right? I don't have it either, right? I'm always on
Shit.
10.
Maybe
all
it's
the
not
time for the most
emotional.
part.
It's not emotional
But,
position.
Yeah, it's like the vibe is always calm, but I feel like you have to have that to be a successful engineer.
Yeah, when you see people in behind the scenes videos and stuff, like you'll see like
Oh God, there's so much dick heavy energy in the studios. God
Oh,
damn
forget
it.
it.
I'm
so look
ugh.
like you'll see people partying, having a good time. There's a great energy, but the engineer is just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's nothing. It's nothing against
Nothing
that
phases
engineer.
you,
There's
like,
not. It's literally like, listen. First of all, they probably been there 10 hours before the
Yeah.
artist actually showed up or whatever.
Artists probably
And-
showed up late,
Yeah, like they're 5 coffees in,
waiting
you know what
on
I'm
the
saying?
fucking track to get stems to come through from the
Word.
homeboy or something.
Anything, just waiting. The waiting game is a real deal thing. But like, that's just the zen of the engineer. Like that's just them. Just they're just there to do what they do. They're there. They're not there to party. And you have your moments where you celebrate. There's things that are just like, yo, this is unbelievable.
yeah.
Yeah, they might hit the whatever.
I think it's
Yeah.
about the team. Like
Yeah.
any artist get to be very successful when everyone is there to create something and create magic. You cannot just be one thing. You need an artist to make it. You need somebody with the beat. You need to team up.
Yeah,
But
right.
like the studio, I got invited to studios couple times, and I always
I can already. It's always a
party.
I don't know.
But were they hip hop sessions or were they heavy metal
Definitely.
rock sessions?
Definitely hip hop
Sessions that we're
sessions.
talking
This is
about.
Mount
They were. I
Gosher,
know they were.
AKA
I know they
grape
were.
juice.
So that's a whole
AKA
wave
grape
right there.
juice.
Definitely hip hop.
grape
session.
soda, let's
grape
get it,
soda.
let's get-
Sorry, my bad.
Grape
so each
soda.
time I first time when I got in, I walked in and I'm like, why? I thought it was a business conversation, and I walked in and I saw them doing their thing, and then like 15 homies sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
I'm like,
Weed smoke.
Like,
yeah.
why am I
That's
here?
part of the vibe. I mean,
Yeah.
No.
yeah.
Do I look like a studio hoe?
No.
No.
But I'm just saying, like, it's just, there's a studio vibe. Like,
Right.
there's,
They're just pre-gaming. They're getting
there's
into
some
the-
artists
Yeah.
that work way better with a room full of people.
Right.
And
Why?
it becomes
They
overwhelming.
just want
Why?
to create. When they say, be like, yo,
Yeah.
what do you think of that?
Right.
Yo, was that hot?
Yeah,
It's
so-
like the check. The
So you want to
Yeah,
create
but-
that
You need that
aura.
energy.
Well,
You need that,
yeah.
yeah, go in.
Wait.
What?
There, thank you. There's some men who are yes man,
Yeah.
and then somebody who actually says no, I don't like it. Can you
That's
imagine like a
anything, that's
homie
anything, that's
saying,
not
"Look in
just-
the artist, no, like
But-
you could do better."
That happens.
also-
Yeah, but that's
that
what you
does
need
happen.
certain homies.
Do
No,
they
but
do
also,
that?
Too, it's
Yeah,
not the
that does
homie.
happen.
Sure.
But
That
no,
happens.
but here's the thing. It's not the homie's job to tell you that.
Unless you brought them there for that. Unless you brought them
them
there.
there or you asked. Like
No.
someone who's
Like honesty.
someone who's in there like,
do you know
oh,
what I'm
you could just
talking
like
about?
I know exactly what you mean. Like, anything that they do is great to certain people, of course. And that you're always going to, it doesn't matter if you're Jay-Z or whoever, if you're brand new or whatever the case. You're going to have the yes men around that, like, anything you do is amazing.
right.
But
I don't have that.
what you'll
I should.
But what you'll notice is artists see through that. You know what I mean? Like, and they respect that. Listen, man, I don't take it a certain way that my man is like appreciative of every single thing that I do. I don't look at it like, man, he'll like anything. Like, he's a supportive individual around you. You know what I mean? Like, he's there to support what you're
Since
doing.
we're talking about this, I have a question for you, like, especially because we're talking about yes men, and you're
Yeah.
saying that maybe there's not that person that's like, no, I think you should do it again, which there's cases that there's both, sometimes both of them in the studio at the same time, and I've seen, like, arguments and fights happen because of that. So what happens, or, like, how do you deal with when, let's say everything's all good. They got all their yes men. This track is fire. According to
10 yes men.
according to everyone
Yeah,
in the
enough
room,
yes
right?
men.
They take it back to the whip, or they play it somewhere else. They perform it, or whatever it is, and then the feedback is like, "Yo, that was trash." And then like they come back to you, like what, or like, and any engineer, like, what is something that you feel like can change, or like what experience have you had with that kind of like thing? Like,
It's all back to the artist. I've been lucky to have an artist like Meek that knows his music better than even some of the top executives.
Do-
and all
so he's
that
not
Do
stuff.
people
taking in
just
all the
say no
yeses.
to him?
There's people that have
How
said
many?
no.
How many?
Look, I'll tell you like this, right? Some of the records that to us are Meek's biggest records got shot down by some of your favorite people in the business, period. Without
do
me
like a
having to name
remix or
names.
something?
No,
Just
in general of like, yo, let me play
Copy.
you my album.
Copy.
That ain't it. This is, and it's your biggest record. But in your heart, you're tripping. It all comes back to your artist and their confidence level, like what I was talking about with the new stuff. It's their confidence level. I'm like, yo, I know that this is gonna I feel it, and my gut tells me to follow through with this. I'm not gonna, I may take your advice on certain pointers of like, yo, maybe I could go in and perfect it a little bit. Let's add some post-production. Let's go back in on maybe recut a verse. But the actual record is fire.
yeah. So on
That's
average,
a confidence level with the artist. Yeah.
right? Like on average, you would say that it's more like you say, like Meek, for example, he knows, and whether he gets shot down or not, he knows that it's not back to the drawing board. It's like, I'm still gonna go with my vision.
Dude, if he gets shot down and he actually puts a record to the side, it's because in his heart he was like, I wasn't all the way in on this record. It's not because of certain people that said, nah, don't do that.
That's dope. That's real dope.
But
Yeah.
again, it's like, this is all, back to whoever it is that's your client or whatever. So as an engineer, I would say if it's a quality thing, if they're like, yo, this mix is trash, I mean, unfortunately, that's something that you have to deal
That
with.
falls on the engineer.
Yeah,
Right.
but like majority of the time, if it's just the vibe is just not there, it doesn't matter what you do in terms of like tweaking and whatever. It's just,
Performance is not.
it may be the performance or
I have-
song itself.
I have
something
a
about
question,
the production or
and this
something
might
like
be
that.
a little sidetracked of what we're doing, but I really, because I know there's a lot of upcoming engineers listening that are not sure if I should go 100% into this. They're not sure if maybe should I be a producer, but I really like engineering. And I'm just going to ask this question, and pardon me for being so straightforward, but as a upcoming engineer, how do you make money?
So, man,
And I know there's different ways and different
journey.
things. But listen, I know that's a very broad question. And I don't mean you specifically. I'm just mean, okay, so obviously one would be sessions.
Yeah, that's money.
Right?
Gain
Yeah, that's
experience.
easy.
First.
Two would be mixing opportunities, right? Mixing
That's
and
money right
mastering.
there.
That
That's
comes
more
with
money.
it too,
Yep.
okay? 3 would be, and this is just my entrepreneur mind from us working together, some type of workshop or educational something to give
Are you
back.
gi- are you
If
giving-
you're on that
If
level.
you have that level, yeah.
If you're on that
That's gotta
level,
be on a different
because
experience.
because I see
Yeah, I mean,
engineers out there that don't have one placement that are doing workshops and stuff like that, and that's kind of cool.
Maybe they have a charisma though. I don't know.
And that's kind of
I don't
cool,
know.
but I think you have.
Maybe they
see,
made eggs
you see
and
the
hash
one
brown.
thing like with the Illmind and past the
yeah,
Aux,
that's
which is now the
Lars.
Blap Sessions, which
That's
was
Lars.
in studio, is he's relevant. And I always say this, when I created that for Illmind with Illmind, he was relevant, so it made sense when we
He's a
created
known
that
name, yeah.
that the kids were going to be that with Cruz. When I created with Cruz, like the Respect to Engineer workshops, I knew it was going to work because he was relevant. And I've said this
Yeah.
to him before. The reason why I
He's
know it's
touching
going to
you.
work
Cruz,
is
he's touching
yeah,
you.
is because is because he's relevant.
Emotional.
You know what I'm saying? It's because he's relevant. So I feel like that's like a key component that a lot of these. You got producers out there doing the workshops that don't really have placements, like who maybe were relevant years ago. But I think when you're relevant now, you can. The world's your oyster.
Like you have
can
a following of people that will
if
come
you're
see
relevant.
you.
I was gonna say like it's not like self-validation. It's like what people actually think and respect about you, which I think would allow other platforms besides like working with clients as an engineer. You start having these other platforms that you can explore. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a well-known engineer, but like I just did a master class. I just got on a panel. Like I did a few of those things, and it was just because like I follow up with the community. I'm involved and I want to be involved. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to be locked in the studio and just become the best engineer. There's great, amazing people that do that, but that's also like 1 in a million. That's
You need to
Yeah.
network. You need to
Yeah, you
find
need a
a
network.
third
Well,
way of
also
doing
this too,
stuff.
let's talk about there are engineers out there, and again, I'm not speaking to anyone specifically, but there's engineers out there that get credit, that get points on the album.
Oh, that's
That's
big.
another way to
Yeah.
That's big.
to make
Yeah, but
money
you
as
need-
an
That's
engineer.
really
But
small.
you're
That's so
talking-
small
a very
right there.
small percentage.
It's a
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
small. I mean, I'm
mean,
talking like the
there's not
Ali,
even-
you know,
Right,
like
right,
those
right,
kind of
super
guys.
tiny.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's mad tiny. I think.
But
I think. For
listen,
the
it's
most,
mad
yeah.
tiny, but it can happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know
Anything
what
can
I'm saying?
happen.
Those are options.
Anything can
There's a
happen.
pursuit of happiness. If you know you're really good at it, it's like it's going to flip. You just need to be an artist. You just need to figure it out.
You gotta
Get
be
yourself on the
creative.
panels. Start talking to people. Keep blapping about your shit, and then something's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Just
a,
don't quit.
it's a very it's not a straight path, and I mean that's never the case in anybody's pursuit of success or
And this is also new ground that you're breaking too. With you know what I'm saying with this stuff.
Have
So
you
I know
ever
it's-
thought about quitting?
no. You know what's crazy? I remember a night in New York where you know, I'm interning and the money was like super light and I didn't really have a place to go. And like for the night, it was like I literally had like no bed. Like so I just like took the ferry back and forth. Like I just like burned time until the studio opened back up so I could get back in the studio. And like not a lot of people really even to this day knew about, you know, but like in that moment, like I was just like, yo, it just made me want to even go harder. So like if you don't have that level of drive where you don't have $1 to your name, you don't have a bed to lay in, but you're like, I'm gonna get back in the studio and I'm gonna bust my ass and you're gonna know my name and I'm gonna, you know, I had all these things that I had set forth for myself that everything is connecting, but it's not because of you know, happenstance. It's like literally work.
So what happened? What happened in your life? No. What happened? Go back to your eggs and hash browns. What happened in your life? Because obviously that's a passion to get where you at. Like if you want to talk about it, I go with this whole thing. Something really dark needed to happen. Because like there's like people, I don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
I just go with plan A.
Yeah.
And I'm it's like plan A or I will die.
Yeah.
So what did happen?
There was this moment of like before, and we talked about it. He was like, "Yo, don't, you know, we'll probably just get right to it without giving the story, but it makes sense here. Like, you know, I was in Atlanta, and I was in like, you know, I had a great job, right? Like everything was great. Like I was, you know, about to graduate college, which, you know, everything just on paper looked really great. And it was like one of those things where like, you know, your family was happy for you because, you know, you were like kind of walking that safe line and everything, you know, you had your benefits and all that. And then I had always had this passion for music since I was a kid. I put this picture up of playing the piano. I probably was like 4 or 5 in the picture or whatever. It just was like always a thing that I was, you know, I had a different connection to music from young. And I've never been kind of the like in your face, wanting to be a celebrity type of guy. And I found out kind of the ins and outs of the business through just watching like documentaries and, you know, like the Fade to Black would come out and you would be like, man, like in awe of that process of creating a record. And I bought my little Pro Tools inbox and would, you know, have homies come through and we would experiment with like different sounds and recordings. And I bought a little used MPC and make beats. And it just got to a point where I was like, man, what do I need to do to make this my lifestyle? And I broke my lease. I, you know, went to Full Sail, dropped everything that I was doing, and went to Full Sail. They had a requirement that you know, you had to stay in certain places or whatever. So a friend of mine, and, you know, I wanted to kind of get into some of this too, like a little bit later, but I can touch on like who you really call your family. Because especially when you get in this business, it gets really funny. You get real comfortable and you feel like people are there for you when they have ulterior motives. But there's people that no matter what your status is or what you can do for them, they're gonna be the same. And there's a particular guy that is like, my best friend, like a brother to me, Lamar, that dropped everything he was doing and went with me to Full Sail. We did that journey together where we were in this apartment, like little to no furniture. We literally didn't have any real money, but we took our story to the top office, the president of Full Sail, because we damn near got rejected. And before I would run out and be like, you know what, forget it, this isn't it. My boy kind of finessed a meeting with one of the admins there and had the conversation about our story and stuff. And he called me. He was like, yo, where you going? I'm like, yo, we out, man. Come on, man. This isn't going to work. He's like, come sit down real quick. We had a meeting. Long story short, they gave me like this unheard of scholarship. We made it work, got through the program and, ended up in New York, and the rest is history, but like that couldn't have happened if I didn't have the determination to say, you know what, I'm going to just get rid of whatever it takes. I'm going to go to Full Sail, because in my mind, like that was the only way I would get in the door at a studio. And it's weird. Like sometimes I'll backtrack just to kind of keep myself on track and motivated. I started looking at old emails, and I got this email from a studio here in the city, I won't mention their name, that rejected me off of when I was trying to get experience. They were like, well, you have to go get experience so that we can give you the experience. And I'm like,
that's the story of a lot of engineers, man.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
No problem.
Sounds
right?
like a runaround.
Yeah. So long story short, that motivated me to then be like, listen, if that's what it takes to get in the game, I'm going to drop everything. And that's where I got into the educational piece. So I went to Full Sail, made my way to New York. And like I said, not to keep dragging this on, but like I made my way into an internship at Rock the Mic and just went full blast. And now I'm here.
Now you on Glowed Up.
You know what's great about that story? Because, and shout out to Lamar too, and to you for taking that leap of faith, is because you made whoever it was take notice that they had to take notice. It's like they couldn't not see you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay, that's how we're gonna play that game.
He's hungry.
Okay, so then I'm gonna play that game too. Yeah. But now you're gonna see my face, and now we're gonna come to your office and knock on your door or set up a meeting. Yeah. So you need to hear our story. Yeah. And once they get to know you, like I say all the time, if someone likes you, they can't say no. Yeah. So once they see you and they like your story, you're in. You're golden right there. Because they're gonna like you. They're like, damn, there's something special about this guy. And whoever that was, look at Cruz now.
Yeah.
I think it's the passion. Yeah. I think when you walk in and somebody sees someone hungry and ready to go, and also they've been in the industry for long enough, and they actually are kind of tired. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, let me crack the door for this dude just for a minute. He's gonna do my work, and then he will let go. But not a lot of people do that. Mm-hmm. Like I think this world is like people don't help each other, and
it's rare.
And people, especially in the music industry, like
especially in New York. I mean,
it's like I've been watching this from outside because I'm not American, and also I don't want to be a part of this like hip hop culture. I sleep with them, but like I don't want to be a part of it. But I always call them on their shit. Just be a nice person. Like, what is the problem of helping someone else? I know rappers from the hood who are as fast and as Bone Tags or anything like that, and they never got a break. But they think they're not worth it because that's the generation. You're not worth it. I'm raised by a mother who told me I need to do everything, but I can't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how my passion is to like pursue it. And like I will walk inside the room, I will sit next to you, and you will, it's really hard to don't like me. especially when it comes to money. I will make you money. So my idea was, I will make you work, and what I always say to people, how much time, how much money you will give me to not give me a headache. And I invest that, and then you can invest more, but how much from the beginning? How much time you will give me to work with me, so you will not feel like you wasted your time. Let's go.
Yeah.
And people look at me like, you out of your mind.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Would you rather, and let's say you have options, like there's 2 engineer options, right? Would you rather the guy who knows a lot, like he knows a lot, he's actually very, very smart, maybe talks a little bit too much and maybe you just need to tame him back a little bit? Or would you rather like the younger guy, listens really well, doesn't know that much, but you could probably get him there?
Yeah.
If you had to pick between like those 2.
I've known both guys.
Guys, what about girls?
Girls,
I'm
guys,
saying
people.
in general.
Yeah,
I've known
vibe.
both people.
Like
But the thing about it is that with the people that know too much, I feel like a way of you knowing too
The
much and
know-it-all.
complicating the process. I've seen the,
can see that.
Rube Goldberg machine mixing process of like you having everything automated and all this other extra, and it's like, dude, how can we get this to a place of like, all right, let's get the idea out, and then on your own time you do all your little extra tweaks and all that stuff. There are people that complicate the process. So if it were to come down to the 2, I would pick the guy that had the right vibe, the right attitude, that still had the skill set to at least, be able to get in there and
it's like a
work-
diamond with
yeah.
some shit on it.
Yeah, you can
It's
throw
really
it.
all
gotta
about
clean
the
it up,
vibe.
Clean up the diamond.
It's really all about the vibe at the end of the day. It's people think they go to a studio and like they know all the all like the technical stuff, and they think that's gonna like make them advance faster because they know all the technical. Especially the ones that just came out of school. They're just like they want to test their skills and they want to like be proactive and like and they don't.
Clean the toilet.
Yeah,
Number
exactly.
1.
But that's how you gotta get them. Yo, listen, I want my coffee light and sweet.
Facts. Clean the toilet.
This is
Don't
this
say
is what
nothing.
we want for lunch.
Yo.
Here's the card. Go. We'll see you later.
Word.
I
If you can
just-
do that, then you can come back.
Listen. When me and Illmind opened Roseville, and Jackson can vouch. Shout out to Jackson, who runs the video, the Bro Jackson,
Hello.
and shout out to Captive, who's our audio guy. But those 2 guys were my interns. 3, 4 or 5 years ago, right? Were my interns, and these guys can tell you for the first month, coffee runs. Go to Best Buy. Go get this cable. You weren't even having your hands on a session.
No, definitely
Not even close.
Okay, there's this trick.
Yeah.
There's the girls movie that every guy should watch, especially walking into this industry, which is Devil's Wears Prada. And it really shows you how to be an assistant, how to get yourself through the door and stay.
Yeah, it
you
gives
can
that
get
whole story of
yeah.
like, relationship issues that come up, because that's a major part of your.
You need to know. You need to know the other. Like I told my assistant, watch that fucking movie.
Yeah.
You need to
for
know
sure.
what I'm
for
thinking before, because
Yeah.
then I get cranky. Shout out to my assistant. But you need to do your job. So it's okay, you letting them in, but they need to stay.
Right.
And you need to pay your dues with other people. You need to know the dynamics. You need to know the name of the person. You need to know who is in the studio, who is in the studio with you. You watch the energies. You pay your fucking dues. And then you do other shit.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Sure.
Because this happened to like a few people that I know that are very experienced and stuff, and then they get put into a studio and then they have to like do the internship thing. But meanwhile, these guys have like all the credits needed to run like sessions and stuff. So how do you guys feel about that? Like whether you're an assistant, let's say you want to keep your assistant, but like, yo, like why am I doing coffee runs and
That's it right there. Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
That's what is your personal? Why are you here doing
How do
that?
you
What is
keep
the
someone
reason?
like
Why are
That's
you
where
doing
we
that?
get. That's where it gets complicated.
Yeah, that's the thing.
because,
And these people are like super talented, and they may not even have that ego that makes you want to get rid of them. But it's just like, yo, if I keep doing this internship,
you're
I'm out
part
of
of
here.
the
Like,
team.
I've seen that happen a lot of
No,
times.
no, you're
We're
part of
just
the
starting
team.
out in the crew.
No. It's
You're
just-
But how?
Way
Like,
up.
all right. So let me ask you this: how many years in? Like, what's their like? Cause I'm we talked about this on Blap Chat. I'm like 6-7 years in with Meek, and I just now feel like this was my breakout year, and I was on.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
You were ready. Yeah.
Right.
So like, where are they at? Where they're
that's
complaining already about like, oh, I'm being stagnated or
Exactly.
whatever the case. Like,
I've
I'm
seen it. I've
It's
seen
a
excited
it.
to go on a
very-
coffee
Yeah,
run.
I've-
I'm
No,
gonna
I'm
bring
not
that
gonna
coffee
lie.
back hot
Like,
as
Wait,
fuck.
wait,
like
wait.
I'll put it like this. So just to make the story a little bit more clearer, like this involves me and two other assistant like engineers, interns, and they kind of just like dipped after like a few months, and I'm just there like
where they at now? What do they got going on now? No, seriously.
they're probably working in some small studio, maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't really heard follow up anything, but like I also got like a little like they made me get anxious about stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just like, damn, like they're about to leave. Like, should I leave? You know what I mean? Like, so like that kind of like that energy. Like, what do you? And these people are experienced. So like, what do you like? What would your idea or suggestions be for the studio head or like those people? Like, what would you say is something that they need to follow? And this could be anything for any type of business, not just studio.
Honestly, I feel like there's a big issue just overall to your point of the culture nowadays with social media, and everything is very sped up. Like there's people even with with Grammy nominations just came out, right? There's people that maybe was assisting on a record, or they recorded a verse on one of the songs, but now they're a Grammy nominated, whatever the case. I'm not mad at it. I had to catch myself because I'm like, listen, the nomination is kind of one of the bigger parts of the whole thing, because that's where you feel like you're in the conversation now. Like you can say I was a part of a Grammy nominated project, potential winner, whatever. But like, what is, what the issue is like, listen, we're at a place of like, all right, the work that you put in, eventually you'll be rewarded for, right? I mean, like in terms of you felt antsy with these people, right?
Yeah, mostly
Like,
because of
leaving or
them.
whatever,
Like,
right?
I
They're
didn't
putting
care.
their energy on you.
That's what
Yeah.
I was
I still-
just saying.
Right,
I
but
still
like,
did them-
are
my
you
thing.
are you fulfilled in what it is that you're doing right now? Do you feel like, all right, cool, I'm cool with, I'm gonna keep working my set here. I feel like my breakthrough is coming, whatever the case.
At that time, yeah. Like this was a few years ago, but like I still felt like I had just as much experience, if not more, than these guys, and I was like cool. Like I was just chilling. Like I'll go in the studio and say what up to some of the big producers that were there and just have a conversation with them, and I was just like, yo, this is good. This is still worth it for me, I didn't let that nervous energy get the best of me, but I did understand where they were coming from, because I think that they just felt belittled pretty much, and I think that happens a lot to assistants.
Well, when it comes to my assistant, it's different, because he would tell you, if he was sitting here, he would tell you he sits at the table with me. He's my right hand. But also there's difference because he works for a woman. It's totally different thing when woman is your boss, and he gets the job done. But also he has ability to watch how you structure business, how you are actually an artist and a businesswoman and business person, like how you run it. But I have another question before we finish. Why you're 6 and you felt that you belong? What it took? Because
What was the
sorry.
question?
So
Year
now,
6.
why is I feel like it's
year
my
6.
breakout
Got
year?
it.
Yeah.
got it.
Why not earlier? Like what happened?
So
Thank you. Atlas.
honestly, I think what happened was, and it's a rare thing because, like I said, I mean, there's people that they knock out their first project and they're big shit. You know what I mean? Like they're the guy. And for me, it was like I felt like the work that I put in, the projects that came out, the accolades, everything, I could finally say like I felt validated that I was a part of all of these things that happened. And it was the first year that as a team we were celebrated on a scale where I said, I feel a part of something way bigger. I always knew the level of talent that Meek had. I always knew as a team, like all the work that we put in, that even when people turned their back and had negative things to say or maybe we didn't get the accolades we deserve for other projects. I think simply because of, maybe it is like, finally, like, the industry as a whole was opening their arms to us. So that could
To
have been
us or to you?
I mean, I look at it as a team thing. Like, and maybe it could be a fault. I don't know. But like, I look at it as like, listen, us as a team, made it to a certain level together. We all fought this fight together. I can't take a personal, I can't take it as like, yeah, I'm winning. I feel like it's selfish. I feel like it's not right. And like I said, like for me, I'm like sometimes I'm like loyal to a fault or whatever, or I'm like, I get a little bit too caught up with like the whole team aspect of it. Like maybe other people don't feel the same way, but like for me, I feel like we made it, and it feels so much more rewarding because I saw these people struggle, and I saw these people when it looked like things were really good behind the scenes, it wasn't the best situation, and now like just everything to come full circle. For me to be able to bring Guru in to mix the project when I was getting his coffee in his backwoods and all that, it was a major, like, I can't explain, like, even outside of just the accolades and people shouting us out and, me getting love from, different podcasts and things like that. It was us as a team being like, man, like, it was just the overall, like, this massive full circle thing.
I will tell you something funny. There's this whole research now made that waterfalls don't work, like corporation don't work. It's all about being agile, so it's all about teamwork. It doesn't matter. Everyone will have their time to shine, but you can, like, one bad seed will make project shit.
Yeah.
And that's really what happens.
100%.
Listen,
I will have one more question.
Sure, go.
How tall is Meek?
He's like a ball player. I don't know. He's like, he's pretty tall. I don't know exactly. I don't really,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Listen, so we're gonna wrap up soon.
yeah.
But listen, shout out to Guru too. I don't know if I told the story before, but when we wrapped up the first Respect the Engineer tour,
Yeah.
I was at a studio. I don't want to say the studio just because if he was going there, I don't want to put his business out there.
Yeah.
But I was walking down the street. I was with Father Dude, and Guru was right behind us. I didn't know he was directly behind us at the time, and we had just got back from the tour, and I'm about to go in the elevator, and the owner of the studio comes to meet us, and apparently he's Guru had a session in his studio.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna front. I saw a Guru, and I totally kind of fanned out.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking Guru. He's a legend. That guy's the man, in my opinion. And I found out totally respectfully. I didn't like go overboard. I wasn't. And he showed so much. I literally, the first thing I said to him was like, "Yo, Guru, I helped Cruz with the Respect the Engineer.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing the LA, the LA, because he came to the Respect the Engineer, spoke to the kids.
That was not planned.
Was not planned, right? So shout out to Guru for doing that.
That was heavy.
And he showed me, he was so genuine. Like, he showed me so much love.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he goes, man, he was saying how, like, he was Cruz. He's like, man, Cruz is that dude. He goes, Cruz is the only person, it's the only engineer, actually, period, that, I won't say the artist's name, huge artist. He said, Cruz is the only engineer and the only person that this artist let me be in the studio with the artist. It was Guru and you, and you left. No, he left to go to like the restroom or something like that. And I'll tell you who the artist was when we went in the green room. Yeah. But he said, like, he left to go to the bathroom, and like you and the art, like, you guys were just like,
we clicked, yeah.
You clicked, and he said,
I know the story.
and he said, this artist doesn't mess with nobody.
Yeah.
And when I say who it is behind the scenes, you guys will be like, oh, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But he was shouting you out so much and showed you so much love, bro.
What's up,
and I just want to say shout out to fucking Guru for that, because
love.
because as soon as I mentioned your name and I told him how I was affiliated, he opened it up for me like, oh man, he let me take a picture with him. So shout out to Guru, man. I kind of fanned out, but he's a good dude. So look, we're gonna wrap up here. Cruz, is there anything maybe you want to drop your social media or something, or where people can go to sign up? I know we mentioned it earlier for your Respect the Engineer talent search. So why don't you just give them that information? real quick?
Just follow me on Instagram. Really, break it DWN. Just break it down without the O. The link is in the bio. All the information is there. You could follow Atlas the Plug. He's gonna help me continue to promote this thing.
Follow Glowed Up Show.
Definitely follow Glowed Up Show. 100%. But this is something that it's a passion of mine. Like I just one of my good friends from college. He doesn't know this, but like he had mentioned something to me about paying it forward, and it really stuck with me because I was like, in my mind, I'm like, that's what I do, consistently. But I understand now exactly like the length of what he was talking about, of like, put people on like that are deserving, that are passionate, that are so shout out to him.
Light creates more light.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and especially nowadays, man, like, I mean, that's a whole other episode, but definitely I appreciate you guys having me. I had a great time. We could talk for another hour, 2 hours. There's so much to talk about. But definitely, Respect the Engineer talent search. We're trying to put the next talented up and coming engineers in position.
This is what I would do as a fellow engineer.
Yeah.
I've had so many crazy sessions that I would put people through like obstacle courses. You know what I mean? The super
already got
ways.
We got it.
We already got
We
that.
got this. I appreciate it. Yeah, great minds think alike.
We got all that. We got
Great
all
minds
that,
think alike.
escape room
100%.
escape room type vibes.
You
Oh,
have
like a
to.
drama.
It's gonna be a reality
drama.
show.
100%.
We got all that in the
Come
works.
in, unplug a couple
Content coming
mics.
All that's in the
soon.
works.
Everything. Yep. 100%.
You're a
Yep.
smart guy.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Just
So
make
appreciate
sure
you
food
guys.
is there.
Definitely.
All right, man. So this is Glowed Up Show, and we're gonna wrap up. We'll see you guys next show. Peace out.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Definitely, man. That was so much fun.
Oh
Yo, I
my
had
God.
so much more like.
Yeah.